Testing audio. Testing audio. Holy cow, lag is insane right now. All right. I'll have to edit all that out. Yay, there we go. Haircut? No, I just shampooed this time today, Celia. I don't wash my hair every day because it's wiry. Um, but I'm doing the trees in the yard, and so I have to wash my hair every day. So I gotta let pollen and everything else inside. I mean, allergies kick in, and then the asthma kicks in, and then I'm miserable for 2 days. So hence now you have a description of my weekend too. All right. So, SEO this week, episode number 69. Thank you everyone for coming, and I hope you enjoy the show. Appreciate each and every one of you. If you would, hit like, subscribe, share button, do something. Promote this channel for me. Gee whiz. I know. Get off my ass, promote it myself. Eventually, one of these days. Anyway, what's going on? What's new with all y'all? I have a couple new toys to play with now, and I have a new course to try. Marjan, I think is his full name, Marjan. You look him up on Facebook. He spoke at SEO on the beach this week or last, what, 2 weeks ago, and he talked about a service called Batch Geo that he's using for link building, and specifically his way of doing it, and how and some of the results that he got from doing it. And I know that it's not a new thing. I know that the folks over at Semantic Mastery teach it. I think they even have a done for you service where they make these maps for you. Anyway, Mar released a course on it last week, I believe it was, and we picked it up. So I'm going to go over that course and do the testing for the SAA group, just to see if we can, how we can leverage it. Like all things, once a group of or a large group of people get wind of something like this, inevitably what happens is the service is no longer as valuable in the long run, or Google just removes all of the value that it was giving that service, et cetera, in response to the spam. So I mean, it happens, but hopefully we can at least learn some stuff out of the batch geo thing. One thing that really interested me is he was actually able to get schema inside of batch geo. And so if you know schema and you're good at it, then you can leverage batch geo and do it in a not douchey way, meaning you find something that works, you don't want to spam the hell out of it so that it no longer works. You want to preserve that method, right? Um, so if you know how to do schema, and you get his course, then you can learn how he's got schema integrated into the batch geo stuff, which is in and of itself really good. And so again, I picked it up. We're gonna be doing the testing for SIA on it, rather than releasing it on the show. I owe the members some tests anyway, so that's what we're gonna do. I also picked up I don't know if you guys are aware of the RYS factory guys. So they have this calendar stacker piece of software. It's reasonable, 79 a month with a coupon code. And it creates backlinks using Google Calendars. I'm not a big fan of a lot of the methodologies that those guys teach, because generally it's all, build 1,000 backlinks and have 1,000 anchor text to all the same URLs, et cetera, et cetera. But some of their tools are actually really, really handy. And I know some people that I like and trust that are building links with these calendars or the calendar methodology, and actually doing okay in some markets. Now, obviously, you're not going to go and take over weight supplements with Google Calendar links. Ain't going to happen. But I mean, if you can reduce your fulfillment costs for local agency by doing some of the smaller stuff to your backlinks, building some tiers with this kind of stuff, etc., and powering those up, and I think you go a much better shot. So we're going to test that software out as well. And then they have two more that I own and have not sat down and actually built a whole lot of stuff with. And that's the Google Sites Factory and the GMB POI Factory. Those are just two other tools that they created. And then they have RFR version 2. I don't even use RFR version 2. They also have Backlink Factory and Mega Cloud Stacker Factory. Backlink Factory, I really was just using that to create folders inside of Google Drive that are automatically public. And then the Mega Cloud Stacker is obviously that's what it is. It just stacks cloud stuff. And both of those are pretty handy tools. So those are two that I use the most. But um, other than they would sell everything and anything. So I don't recommend getting into their groups or joining their 500 different Skype groups, etc., or getting on their email list to try out their software. I think you'll like it. If anything, you can create your own methodologies, right? So you figure out from these software creators, Cora, Pop, RFR, whatever software you're using, and then how do they intend it to be used? And then how can you change the intent of that and build your own stuff, um, build your own processes and in a way that it's easily duplicatable for SOPs. And then ultimately you want to get some of the software off of your computer, put it on a dedicated server and use it, have your VAs use it, which is always the end goal to move some stuff around. All right, let's see. Questions for today. Give you guys some time to get some questions in. I'm gonna cut today short. I'm just not feeling it. Anyway, there's not a whole lot to talk about, so no sense in me rambling. But so if you have questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat box if you're on the YouTube. And then we will get going. Let's see. In the meantime, Arcade, do you use CTA manipulation? If so, how do you do that to increase GMB rankings? So I have an agency assassin account and I have CTR booster. CTR booster I bought under the impression that I was going to get some more training, etc., to learn how to leverage CTR. Because ever since CTR came out, I've tested it and it works great. You shut it off and then everything's gone. Or depending on the networks, it turns into the best reputation management tool ever. And if you're doing reputation management, you need to do negative SEO. And I found that if you just plug crap in the CTR tools and point it at stuff, that all the rankings drop and you look like a hero in reputation management space. So that said, Agency Assassin, Ian, I plugged in a map for tests for Ian into Agency Assassin. It didn't do anything. I've given a map to Mike Merlino. They're doing testing. I don't know what kind of testing, but supposedly it's some CTR stuff that they were doing. I don't know if it's still doing it. But they were able to get the map to rank for the broad keywords, but not the city keywords where I'm looking for. So my contention on CTR has always been and always will be, I'm not basing an SOP for a long-term business plan on CTR because I'm not buying 50 fucking servers and 50 licenses of software and 5 bajillion proxies and all that stuff to get all that crap going and have to keep it on all the time. I'm not doing it. And I don't find that it's, unless you're in the lead gen game and you're not providing, and your lead gen maps, et cetera, are your business, that, and you can justify the expenses with a good ROI, it makes zero sense to me to go through that route. And as a matter of fact, there's a lot of people I know that are doing maps and CTR that are just getting out of maps CTR because it's kind of a pain in the ass. All right, let's see. Bobby, how do we create a sitemap for a site that's already built 3 years ago and they're using someone else's sitemap? Get a Screaming Frog. Screaming Frog has a crawler. You just crawl it, and then it has a built-in XML sitemap creator in there. And I believe Sitebulb does as well. Easy peasy. Let's see. Celia, your toolbox sounds like mine. Yeah, we do tend to hang around in the same group, Cecilia. We need to expand our horizons. Let's see. Online Ninja. Think as Google. From an engineering perspective, how can an algorithm know if a piece of content is helpful? Yeah, that sounds familiar. Something like I've been saying forever. Good job. Paid attention, Online Ninja. Appreciate you. uh, and more than that, also, how can that algorithm read? It still can't read. So if it can't read, how can it find out if it's helpful? And the answer is data points. Is the about page there? Is a contact us page there? Privacy policy, terms of service. Is there hot words inside of that content that you can identify? Dot dot dot, etc. Or phrases. Um, those are what an algorithm will look for. It's not looking for the whole piece, and it's not researching your authors and going back and seeing if you're actually, are you talking about, oh, this person wrote an SEO post. Let's go find their Facebook, Twitters, and LinkedIn's and Pinterests, and let's look at all their backlinks and see if they actually know if they know what they're talking about, and if other people say they're talking about things. No, it's not any of that crap. How do you know that? Edu. I'm probably totally mispronouncing your name. I'm just gonna call you Edu. Edu. Is it still worth building a national lead gen project? A couple sites that I monitor got tanked towards the end of 2023. What can one do differently to protect such a website? I think so, as long as you are not a douchebag about it. Um, you know, Home Advisor, the Angie's List, those are national lead gen projects. Yelp, national lead gen projects. Um, I would take a couple considerations in place. One is your publishing pace. You don't want to publish 20,000 pages on one day and go, ta-da, my site's up. And then Google values it for 3 months and then the rankings drop. And typically that's because you don't have any backlinks to all those 20,000 pages. So you have to have that in consideration. Build slowly, build trust, build backlinks at the same time. As you continue to build, you can increase your pace because you already have established trust, and then you can then turn up the nozzle on high if you want to. How do you protect that site? Just do the right things. I'm not saying follow, do what Google tells you to do. But do the right things. Don't be stupid. Don't go, oh, I'm just going to turn on my AI generator and make 20,000 articles and I'm not going to read a single one of them and ha ha ha. Be smart about it and be a business owner for Christ's sake. Especially if you're going to do a national lead gen project. RK, any strategies for faster ranking? Yes. Buy foxnews.com and put articles on there. I've been working on a site for 6 months and it won't move off page 6. Yeah, it's backlinks. You got to do backlinks. Got to build trust. Steady process of trust, internal linkings, figure out your number, how many money pages, your primary content hubs have to have X amount of pages in order to get that's how much benefit you're going to get from your domain, and then build backlinks. It's just life. That's how they'll work. It happens for 6-month-old websites and 16-year-old websites. You just got to build trust. Let's see. Christian, hey, welcome. Uh, Green Worker. I skipped your question earlier. What do you think about Brian Williams Amplifier Pro? Is it worth $1,000 she's asking for? Well, I'll tell you that I've had minimal contact with Brian um, online, and then in person, none until we got to SEO at the beach, and I met the man, and he's great dude. The stuff that he presented in his presentation was very, 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 very good. And it's one of the three things that I walked out of that conference that I'm actually implementing for my business. Um, and if I didn't have to buy a printer to implement another one of those things, and then the paper and then the postage, I probably would have get Brian's course. Um, Hands down. So I just, I met the guy, good vibes, good person, smart SEO, is applying common sense to things. And to me, that's a winner versus some jackass. He's, you know, pretending that he's a SEO expert because he reads patents and can make up words and make everyone else seem like they're dumber than he is. I'm not mentioning any names. So yeah, I would buy Brian's course if you have the opportunity. All right, let me go. Let me go back down. Can I trust the tool Systric when it comes to a website's visibility? Do you know how they calculate the visibility? I signed up for it because there was somebody on Twitter that was doing update winners and losers based on Systrix data. So I signed up to them, paid for it a couple months, and then I talked to the support people. They're using Google's search API at a national level, i.e., there is absolutely zero local adjustment to it, or is it local any adjustment to proximity, any adjustment to variation, cert ranking variations, etc. So, in short, it is pretty much a big fat lie. It's a close up. I won't say it's a big fat lie. They're just limited by what they can do with that stuff, right? So, it is a very, I won't even say close approximation. It is an approximation and estimation of a website's visibility. It is in no way accurately reflect what real life is going to, what that website is actually going through. And that's pretty much the case with all of those services, unless you have the ability to adjust for proximity, et cetera. They're all estimations, and Systrix is just another estimation. Good UI, et cetera. I didn't have any complaints about the service. It's just, I wouldn't be running around on Twitter talking about winners and losers of ranking algorithms based off of Systrix data. It's an estimation to kind of give you a kind of sort of idea of what your competition's doing. No different than Ahrefs or SEMrush's data. Uh, let's see. Dim Geo. I got a reputation management gig for a client. Any methods to drop or de-index negative posts from the SERPs? Yes. Rank the good stuff on top of that, and then all that other bad stuff drops. You're not going to get it de-indexed unless you want to break some laws, and then if you break some laws and then you get caught, you're going to get sued. So don't be dumb. Um, but yeah, if you really, really want to be good at reputation management, you need to be good at SEO. You need to be good at parasite SEO, identifying platforms that you can drop a couple $100 and get a post and just bury client stuff. And be honest with clients. The algorithm loves negative stuff. They love it's set to, and that's frankly because us stupid people, like reading negative stuff about people. So it's kind of skewed that way. So you have to find good platforms to say good things and keep piling that stuff on top of the bad stuff. Richard, working on a person's schema with the intent to get my knowledge panel cleaned up. Are there any limits to the numbers, same as entries if all of that is 100%? Not really limits, but there is I mean, at what point does it stop? Like, does Google not care? And for a knowledge panel, you can look at other people's knowledge panels. Google Elon Musk and look at his knowledge panel, and you'll see the social media sites that they're pulling from do the same thing for multiple businesses and brands. You can bring up a good list of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest. I think TikTok's popping in there now, and maybe a Wikipedia and build those up. But if you're just getting some, I'll just say citations, but I know you're not, but just say citation type sites, then it's a waste of time. Well, I won't say it's a waste of time, but you're not going to trigger your knowledge panel because you have those in there. Does that make sense? Let's see. Adding backlinks this is for Bobby. Adding backlinks into the YouTube video post. How strong are those inbound links? Link juices there. How strong? Fuck, I don't know. Do they move it up or move it down? It's kind of how you're judged link juice. Link juice isn't a thing, by the way. It's just SEO shit we all made up. It's does it go up or does it go down and does it not do anything? And YouTube links generally, no follower or not, can move the stuff up. I mean, when I was doing affiliate stuff in the internet marketing space, I was doing it with just YouTube and ranking #1. So, I would test it and you see how it works for your niche. I know that I did do a test on shorts. If you guys watch the channel, I was publishing shorts 1 or 2 a day, and then I went back in and dropped my backlink on to one of my pages on my website to all of them and the rankings went up. It didn't go up a lot, but it went up, right? So I'm sure that if I had done some link building to the shorts and improved the quality and value of them, maybe it would have been up even more. But the keyword wasn't easy either, right? There's a lot of SEO competition for that keyword for no other reason than the ego of being in that keyword. Let's see, Alex. I've seen that as well with YouTube links. Yep. Okay. All right. Is that it? No more questions, YouTube? The SIA crew is asking more questions today. Appreciate you guys. Let's see. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? You guys want to read something to read? Check out Russell Brunson and he's got this little book called The Linchpin. It's been out a while, but it talks about continuity programs and how to turn your business idea or whatever into a continuity program and build that out. Obviously, the implementation is centered around ClickFunnels, duh. But it's a really good read. I'm going through it now, and it's real. I enjoy it. And what else? Yeah, I don't know. But hey, he saved us. Are you not doing questions from your Google questionnaire? People weren't using it, but I can go check it, see if anyone's got any questions in there. Let me see. Ask a question, responses, viewing sheets. Oh, look at that. There's questions in here. Sweet. Thank you, Vinay. Let's see. Eric B. Having trouble finding clear instructions on how to implement hreflang for a few clients. Shopify and WordPress are the platforms. Any advice? I mean, it's pretty simple. You just add that HTML code and the appropriate hreflang country identifier, and the appropriate URLs. Really easy. Shopify. I got a Shopify client. We're messing around with that, but Tag Manager seems to be our friend with Shopify, just so we don't have to dink around with templates and all that stuff. And then WordPress, you can do. I don't know of any plugins. I really don't. If anyone knows any plugins that handle hreflang automatically, that would be cool to share with the group. But I don't know any. So I just do it in the head when I need it. But I will say, in full disclosure, that I don't work with a lot of multi-language websites. Honestly, I don't think that you should be making them unless you're servicing them. If you're not servicing them, then why have them? That's kind of my stance on it. Let me. I gotta fix something here. Hold on. Format. There we go. You know what? Let me show you guys the questions too, so you can say that they're real. People are asking them. Emily, on a mixed marketplace type website, what would you recommend for products that are out of inventory and will never come back? Do you 301 them to the parent category or something else? If they have a lot of backlinks, and at one time they were popular, they just got out of popular, and then they have a lot of backlinks, 301 is the best option. If they're just gone, then do a 404 or 410. Would be probably the best from an SEO perspective. From a user perspective, I would 301ing them to the parent category works. But the 410 gets them out of the index, etc. For you. And if Google's using helpful content update, then those pages are say all out of inventory. You're kind of screwing with their crawl budget, right? And or your site's crawl budget, and ergo helpful content update supposed score says that you would have bad rated bad pages if those are a lot there. So you want to just 410 them or 404 them. We just did this with a large information site, 560,000 pages. They had the date archives turned on, and no one goes to the date archives. They never use the date archives. They're all linked in there. But they had articles from 2016 all the way down with all these date archives and stuff that people just don't read, et cetera, anymore. And we turned off the date archives and cleaned that up a little bit. So let's be the same thing with e-commerce. If you're not using it, you don't have it. There's no sense to have a page for it because Google's not gonna. You're just wasting Google's time, right? And they are business, and part of that business is crawling. So if you make crawling easier for them, you're better off. You have learned advanced schema markup from you and Terry. How would you leverage that for a size product to increase rankings? If you learned advanced schema markup from Terry and I, then you already know the answer to this. Short term, medium term, long term, advanced. Yeah. If you learned schema from Terry and I already, Casper, you already know the answer to that. Just go do it. How's that? In long term, short term, medium term, go do it. Vinay, what is the importance of tags in WordPress sites? Depending on the site framework, I've seen sites that give importance to them in the sitemap, no index them, and at every level cluster topic on them, whereas some sites are straight up index them and all that stuff. How is it significant from SEO point of view in your project, and how do you implement them? If you're using tags, have a specific intent of purpose for using them. Don't do tags just for the sake of doing tags. If you're not gonna have a specific intent and purpose, no index them. They're useless for Google. Don't even fill them out and generate them. Just set them to no index. Don't build sitemaps for them. Leave them alone. You can use on the other side of that, you can use tags for I don't know, let's say you're a small business website and you want to do a whole bunch of articles on grants for small businesses. You can do a tag for small business grants and then customize that specific tag page and list all your small business grant articles, just like you would with a category system. Well, you can do that with tags as well. You can create glossaries with tags. You can just build out tags like you normally would by creating tag clouds with Yake or LSI keywords, for example, that are related to your market that you use a lot in your content, and you use that as an interlinking thing. So if you set the tags and the tags are indexed and Google's crawling those and you're using them on all of your posts, you're building your internal links from those tag pages at the same time, and you never have orphan pages. So you really got to think of your intent to using a tag and then implement it in that regards. Hopefully that helps today. And if you have any more follow-up questions on that, ask in the YouTube, because you're the one who reminded me to check this stupid sheet. Sarita, who'd you learn YouTube SEO from? Not 100% sure who is BSing. They're all BSing and they're all telling the truth. Trust everyone and then test everything is a good motto to go by. I would just look at uh, people in your market being successful. How are they doing it? What kind of thumbnails are they making? What are the topics that they're talking about, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So in my case, if I really wanted to push the envelope with SEO this week or this channel in particular, then I would stop talking about SEO. I would talk about AI and SEO and how to make pages with SEO and how to write content with SEO and how to make images with SEO and all of that crap to generate generate an audience. Um, the two bad things in SEO, for example, in doing that is, one, you draw attention to yourself, and then two, the people who do it, who are watching that stuff, typically aren't going to pay you any money anyway. So why would you draw attention to yourself in order to um, generate a crowd that don't pay any money and they're just freebie seeking leeches, and then and they won't implement any of your stuff. So you just kind of, I mean, Julian Goldie would probably be making way more much money now, had he not said anything, um, than he did. But he did gain an audience. So if you wanted to, you sell courses, etc. Right? So tossing it up, leveraging that idea of, good versus bad. Anyway, so that's how you do the YouTube stuff. YouTube's not very hard to figure out, right? Title tag, description, the tags, the hashtags, and tags inside of the YouTube system. Set the dates, and if you're doing local stuff, set the locations and the proximity, and then build backlinks. It's pretty easy. Your real thing is subscribers and views. And if you look at my channel, I'm not the guy to be talking about YouTube SEO, because I don't do it. Is it hurtful to use robots TXT too much? Bing Webmaster Tools said if Bing bot is stopped from crawling pages on certain pages, the organic traffic search result will be lower. Well, if you don't let Bing bot crawl the pages, it doesn't index your pages, and it's hard enough to index your pages anyway. So blocking Bing bot, if you're trying to do SEO, is kind of I have 12,000 pages and 30,000 pages blocked in 300,000. Yeah, you're not going to index that site in Bing. I can tell you that right now. So I don't even worry about Bing bot. I mean, but turn off the why you have 300,000 pages that are just sitting there not indexable. That's a red flag in and of itself. But if your robots TXT is blocking most of the website, from a business perspective, to me, that's a big old sign that you made 300,000, 312,000 pages and then you turn it on, and then you're publishing them at a pace, but they're already there. I can see it because I can honor or dishonor the robots TXT. That's all I have to do is say ignore robots TXT, and then I'm going through and crawling it. Which to me, if I was a search engine guy, the first time I was exposed to your new website, I would just ignore it, see what you really got on there, and then go apply your robots TXT for the next sets of crawls. And having 300,000 pages is a big fat flag. Let's see. Tom, does links in business profile posts boost your international rankings for your normal website? I did a test where we did 300 posts with links in them and it didn't do shit. Test it again. It may change, but when I did it, didn't do anything. Didn't move up, didn't move down, didn't move sideways, just bleh, didn't do nothing. J Lo, how do I optimize Pinterest? How should I think about boards and keywords? The board should be your primary markets narrowed down. So if you were doing supplements, for example, and you had weight loss, and then you had skincare and probiotics, you'd each have a board for each one of those subsets. That's how I would do it. Just think of silos and build your boards in the same way. For local, I mean, I do so much local for rehabs that we have boards for states, and then we have boards for cities, and we have boards for niches inside of those cities too. So yeah, think about it like a silo. Do it the same way. Anchor text, yes, something I like to talk about. I want to build backlinks to my EMD. I have pages for 300 cities. What anchors can I use? I want to use brand city anchors, but due to my EMD domain, I'm afraid to over optimize for my keyword. Build with the EMD, you got to be careful. So you're smart to be cautious about this. You don't want to go nuts and build just brand, which is also EMD, right? Which is the EMD. Well, technically, you could have a EMD, and your brand can be different. So you might be okay. But if your EMD and your brand are the same, you got to be careful. Um, so how do I counteract that? I build a lot of domain.com anchored backlinks. Domain.com. Build a whole bunch of those and then start popping in your brand city anchors, and then you'll be okay. But don't go crazy with the brand city anchors. Just domain.com. Make that your priority in your backlinking thing. So for example, my brand is not optimized for a keyword. So majority of my backlinks are all brand. In your case, because your brand and your has an EMD and you have an EMD domain, you got to be more careful with it. So domain.com. That should be your priority. Fan of Clint. Lisa, for product pages, what is one easy thing I can do with AI to optimize a product page that I've had for a couple of years? Change the tone of the product description. So if you have a formal product description, it's kind of, clinical, think of it that way. And just change the tone, rewrite it to be funny or casual or depending on what it is, empathetic, etc. Change the tone of it so that AI will essentially keep the same product description, but it'll present it in a different way. That's also a good conversion rate optimization thing to look at. Change the tone of your thing. If you're doing sex toys, you don't want to be all clinical like a doctor. You want to be feisty, right? If you're doing aromatherapy stuff, you want to be mellow and calm. You don't want to be, look today, buy one now, So look at your products and then change the tone and do it over a course of products. Find like 5, 10 products that are doing sales for you and change the tones of those, and then find the tone that your market thinks that you should be using. You're going to find it pretty quick. And then you can apply that to all of those. Don't just pick one and go, I'm gonna change all my products to this without some testing behind it. Does an indexer pass link juice? Link juice doesn't exist. But okay. Can an indexer influence your rankings by the means in which it's indexing? Yes, it can. So you want to have at least some idea of how they're doing that. The ones that are really super secretive these days are typically using a Google indexing API scheme of some sort. Um, Others do still build bookmarks. I know others that were still using Chinese websites and that had a high crawl rate, and those were indexing. So you got to be a little bit cognizant of that who you're dealing with indexers, and there's a lot of trust in regards to that. On an affiliate page, should I use product schema? Can you? Yes. Should you? Test it. If there's 100 affiliates producing it, and you're the one who uses schema to tell a story about your page and to tell a story about the product the best, you're probably going to outrank them. And most affiliates don't do product schema. Most affiliates don't do schema, and 99.9% don't do advanced schema. If you have a really good product and you're doing it, I guarantee you're going to stand out. If anything, your link building is going to be a lot cheaper for it. What is wrong with this schema? I don't know. Is anyone else waiting for the porn window to pop up as soon as I put this in here? Alrighty. Well, it's in a weird language. Let's see. Let's see what we got. Okay, first, see how this happened? Your schema is not in a cohesive thing. So while you have all of these elements here, good job, they're still not telling a story of what your webpage is about. All right. So if anything, you would have article and then product, FAQ would all be embedded into article, creative work series. And you know what the hell that is, aggregate rating. That's dumb, but you could put that inside of the under the product. And this site navigation and breadcrumbs, I use a plugin to do this. So these two don't matter, but the rest of these should all be under one thing. They should be under article. Now you have all these warnings. So I'm assuming what is this? Multiple products listed under here? Yeah, it's affiliate site. This is not too bad. But what they're doing is their product is not recognized in the schema. So you have positive notes. What the hell is this reading? Positive notes, item lists, text. What the hell is positive notes? So now we look at positive notes. This term is the new area implementation feedback, positive notes. In the case of a review, the property describes item reviewed, perspective of the case of the product itself is being described. And then we look here, positive notes, and you see the text is not in this list. All right. It's expected to be one of these types. Property value can be expressed by unstructured text or document is necessary. So item list, position, and then the name. You see that there's no text in there. So what happens is this is not a text. This part right here is not recognized in this table for text. So you can't use that. You have to take that out. And it's just a warning. It's not saying it's bad. It's not saying it's broken. It's just not standard, so it's not there. And if this tool isn't going to do it, read it, then Google's probably not going to do anything with it either. So I would just take that out. And I really don't know why you would do positive notes. I'm thinking you have it. Positive notes, positive notes. Let's see. Product, positive, and implementation, feedback, or adoption from applications and websites to help improve your definitions. Provides considerations regarding something, for example, product highlights, pros or cons list for reviews. Item reviewed from the perspective of the reader, in this case, the product itself is being described. Yeah, so this is kind of gay. So you have product and then the review of the product and then positive notes, and the implementation would say that you're reviewing that product again. So this should be the same as this, and that's just dumb. So it's redundant. You don't need that part. You would actually do better, because you're reviewing, you have a product review is to have a description of the review in there versus anything else. Because this is a pros and cons. Think about it, pros and cons, and I think they even have a pros and cons thing. Let's see. We're scrolling down the list. Positive notes. So item list, or text. Do. Positive notes. You could also change this to text. Where the hell is your schema at? There it is. View page source. Oh, you think you're tricky? Your minification. Matoma tag manager. So it's good. Where is your schema? And you have inline schema right here. This is actually pretty hard. Kind of pain in the ass to do inline schema. Let's good job. Would you class site navigation schema down at the bottom? Probably built into your theme, I'm assuming. And then the rest of your schema is in your footer. Go smack yourself in the face. It should be up front in the top. So, I want to Copy this. Yep. Copy this. Ding, 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 ding. Schema, publisher. This is good. There's articles published, written by this person, is published by this organization. And then the rest of that schema is busted on this. So, whatever. All right. But what I was trying to illustrate and find it, but I don't want to go through and fight with this thing, is change this to text as a type. And then you'll have to do text here, find text, and then you can use these inside of that to expand on your list for your product more because it's a text type. Make sense? And this is data. So, and you're doing products, you can do pros and cons. So you're doing positive stuff, right? Um, so let's see, what can we do for products? Products. There's a lot. There's a lot in text. Um, Probably best rating could go in there. Let's see. Category. Well, you're already doing products, so you don't need to do category. Unless you're reviewing services, and then you can do category service. Because your product is a service, right? Um, see, content size is interesting. Doing courses, you can do course mode, course prerequisites, course workload. Um, Discounts available. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff you can add in your text. So I would try this text one out versus what you have as the item list. So if you have the item list, then you have to remove that text altogether. It's just a list of names versus this. Hopefully that helps. And let's see that. And then we go back here. Mango, I'm interested in getting hired for an SEO manager or something in my area. What's an impressive thing to uh, bring to an interview for a company? Um, if it was me, I would take 10 examples of SEO data analysis and then how of the company's website and things that I would recommend for improving. Uh, and then you would have to think about how you're promoting that, presenting that. If you come across as a dick or as a know-it-all, they're going to kick you. You're just going to get beat down anyway because they just don't want you. They won't want you in because you're one. If you're way smarter than everyone else in there, then and the person that is interviewing you potentially could be like your boss and they feel intimidated by you, they're probably not going to hire you. So you got to be careful with that kind of stuff. But yeah, I would bring recommendations. If you're going for an SEO manager job, go in there with an SEO campaign. Doesn't have to be a full blown master sheet of campaign, but this is what I see that you guys are doing. Here's my recommendations of how I would change it. Obviously, those recommendations are not based off of only being able to analyze from external view versus internal. So hey, they could be doing all of it, and you're shitting on them for saying that they're not doing it. Maybe they are doing it and you just don't know, right? So it's all about the presentation of how you can handle that. Roger. Any thoughts on Grindstone's disavow approach? Theory that many of the HCU hits were due to mass scraper spam links, image hot links. I've talked about image hot links like 4 videos ago, Roger. And Grind's in my mastermind, and I could tell you that he's not wrong. Those image links are fucking people up left and right. So if you're not paying attention to those things and seeing how people are making those mass websites using your images and building backlinks to you and hurting you, then you need to start go paying attention. Those are bad. Your current thoughts on Search Atlas? I like it. I like it. I like the content builders. That's essentially what I'm using it for. Topical map, but the content stuff is pretty good. Hey, Lewis. Welcome. All right. I think we killed it. Ended up doing an hour thanks to Vinay and reminding me of the form. I need to put that form inside of the whatchamacallit, the YouTube description again. Excuse me. Hold on. Let me do it. Copy. Are we gonna have it there for next week? Appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you all for coming. Here is the form. See. Done. All right. And like always, hope you all have a great week. Leave your questions in the form. If you want to, come join the Discord. If you're not, go to clintbutler.net and you can see the join the Discord button. If that's not working, just ping me in the comments and let me know. I'm pretty sure that that was supposed to be set for join forever. I have 2 groups now, in case you all didn't know. I have the AI or SEO After Dark group. I got that from Jordan Pierce. He didn't want to manage it anymore and gave me the group, which is awesome. And then I have the SIA group. I am way more active in the SIA group, just so you know. But there's more people in the SEO After Hours group. So, pick your poison. Not driving, not, you know. Maybe I'll combine them one day, but they're 2 distinct groups, and I think they're pretty cool. So, and with that, I'll see you all next week.